Well, hello folks. Sunday afternoon in the middle of I've no idea where, in the middle of Dorset somewhere, but look at the bluebells behind us. I mean, they're just everywhere, just extraordinary. So I hope you've been able to find somewhere where you can go, wow, or have that wonder moment over the last week or so, just to encourage your spirit. I was actually thinking, on our roadmap, there are those three things about team, about branding, and about our own self resilience. And we've just been looking at a few things. I think coming out to a wood is a pretty good thing to do. I know that David and Claire Holly went out to see a place in the New Forest last week to see if there was a possibility of taking some of the trainees out there. But there's lots of things going on in that area in terms of resilience. I was just thinking, Emma was talking about the fact they had a laughter workshop at the recovery day, which sounds ace. We should probably try and do that as a part of a team thing at some point. And we've also got a session coming up this week with Richard Stamp, bless him, who's going to do another of our spiritual refreshment times on Friday. It's repeated again next Thursday, so if you haven't booked in for that, please do. And indeed, we've got Emily Bradbury, who some of you will know from Breathing Spaces and Courage to Thrive. She's going to do a whole morning or an hour and a half for us in June. Again, are all around our well-being. So we're trying to build up a series of stuff around resilience. And indeed, there's a really interesting word. I don't know whether you picked this up. I picked this up. There's a group called Kintsugi Hope. And kintsugi is the Japanese art of where you've got a cracked pot, you mend the crack in gold, almost to celebrate the crack in the pot. And there's this Christian organisation who do a series of workshops around that. So if any of you know anything about that, I'd really like to hear more. But it might be something that we want to bring on board, particularly around helping people with mental health. So there's just two other things to pick up. In part of the roadmap, we talked, didn't we, about, as I said, the team side, and really glad to say that Georgia is going to eventually move into a support worker role within the homelessness team. And you'll have seen that the combined volunteer and support care jobs now out for advert. Please pass that on if you know somebody who would be good for that. And indeed, you've probably saw that Paul Bromley's going to be heading off to the West Country in the next few weeks. And Paul, we're really grateful for all that you've done over the last year. So flexible in all that you've done. But we wish you well in your journey, and we'll be looking for the right way to replace you, Paul. Finding, what's the best answer for where we are right now. And then on the other side, of course, this week is starting our brand review. Some of you will have had an invite. I'm sorry we can't have everybody in to the session on Thursday morning, but if you're coming along, that's great. If you can't make it, we've got a series of questions, and I'll send those off in the email if you haven't had them already, so that you can see the sort of thing and get your thoughts in to the team at ARC who are helping run those sessions. But the first one's on Thursday, and then a smaller group of us will take everything that's coming out of that forward over the coming weeks. So it's really exciting that we're going to do that sort of, who are we? What we exist because, trying to answer those sort of questions. So we're going to bring in some partners as well to get their views on it. Really want to try and find this way of getting a clear view for us for going forward for the next years, 2 years, 3 years, whatever that one might be. So I was thinking about the other side of a brand review is telling our story. And actually, there's some really nice work on some of the annual reviews. I hope you get to see these next few weeks. Recovery one's almost done. We're just finishing off some of the other food bank ones and the BCARS one as well. And there's so many good stories in that. Thank you for that. What I'm really keen on is to try and build that into an overall one for the whole of FaithWorks. And I was thinking about whether the theme life would be a good thing, bringing life in all its fullness. We've just been having some really interesting conversations with partners over the last couple of weeks. And it's been great to see. On Friday we had a conversation with the YMCA about how we're going to use half time, trying to get back into that being the front door for people coming off the street. And I've got an ongoing conversation with Steve Robinson from Prama about this asset-based community development work, and maybe there's a way of starting some really micro conversations in each part of our area, and trying to encourage churches to play a key role in that. So it's great to have those partnerships with Prama and YMCA and others. So if you've got really good partnerships that you're proud of, it'd be good to hear from them so we can share them with others as well. And that word life sort of brings me to where I am now. Actually, this afternoon is like bringing me some life. And that verse about wanting life in all its fullness, that's what Jesus said he came to bring. And it's almost like whether that could be almost part of our catchphrase. You know, we want people to have a fulfilling and a fulfilled life. And that's the holistic view of all that we're doing there. You remember that verse that Jesus said, I am the bread of life. He who comes to me will never hunger. And those who come to me will never be thirsty. And I pray that this week actually you'll know that actually whatever you're facing, you'll have all the resources, all the strength, all the life that you need. Thanks folks for all you're doing, and we'll talk soon.